Hi there, friends. It's Sherry, the Homespun Wife. I wanted to come to you today and talk to you about some items around your home that you can repurpose. There's so many things that we can repurpose. If we really don't stop and focus on it, we'll sometimes toss out things that we really can use. Now, I don't keep an abundance of any one of these things because I don't want a lot of clutter in my house, and I don't want to have like 20 extra containers that I don't really use, but I did think that I would show you a few of the things that I keep. I keep maybe 2 or 3 of each item, and that way I have them on hand when I need them. Now, one of my most favorite things that I repurpose is these little spice containers. This is a McCormick spice. I'm not sure which kind, but I took it and I removed the label from it, and this has a great lid on it. It's one of these that does like this. And what I use this for is you can actually put cinnamon down in here and take apple slices with you to lunch, and then dip your apples in the cinnamon and sugar if you want to add that in there. You can use this to add things for your salad, like maybe extra cheese, tomatoes, which tend to be kind of watery when you put them on your salad. And if you take them in the morning like you're going to work, and then by lunchtime you probably have a runny salad and you don't really care for that. So the tomatoes could go down in here. This will hold a lot more than you think. Now, what I typically use this for is I love sugar snap peas, and they are 0 points, 0 smart points on Weight Watchers. And so I can have that. So I'll take some low-fat dressing in here, and I will take the sugar snap peas, and then I will have that for a snack, and I can just dip, and then when I'm finished I can close this up, toss it back in my bag, come home, wash it out. You know, nothing ever leaks, and it really is a perfect size for carrying a small condiment like that. So consider saving a couple of these if you have them. Now, another thing that I like to save a few of is little jars like this one. This was a salsa jar, and as you can see, I have some candy in here. When you have a lot of small items, maybe you have several little bags of small candies or things that are left in your cabinet and they're just sitting there in bags all cluttered up. Take a jar and put them all in one jar, and it'll really save you space. And since you can see right through this, you can see what you have. Now, I am not eating candy right now, I will tell you that, because I'm doing the Weight Watchers, but it's really helpful to use for a lot of other things. Now, if you wanted to use this to give a gift, you could. You can make some homemade lotion. I actually have a recipe for a really, really good lotion that smells wonderful. If you would like to know that recipe and how easy it is, please leave me a comment below, and I will do a video on how to make the lotion. It's wonderful to give for a gift. It's really pink and pretty, and it would look great in a jar like this. So let me know if you want to see that video, and I'll try to do that one. If you were doing something like Russian tea and you wanted to mix up Russian tea for for a gift this Christmas, you could take this lid and you could wrap this with Christmas paper, or contact paper especially would be great. You could even paint this lid red or whatever you wanted to do. Put the lid back on, put your burlap bow on this, and put the recipe for the Russian tea mix so that the person will have it on hand and know what's in it, and give it to them for a present. And that is a wonderful gift. It doesn't cost you a lot of money, but it lets that person know that you thought about them, and it's a great way to pass along cheerfulness during the holidays. So consider holding on to a few jars. Sometimes it'll take a little while to get the stickers off. Now, if you have trouble getting stickers off of your jars, what I do is I use olive oil, and I will just coat my label on the top with olive oil, and then I start removing it. Especially paper wrappers will just slide right off, like the one on the spice container. They just come right off. This one still has a little bit, maybe a residue, not a lot, but I can sort of feel that something was there. But just continue to use your olive oil, and it will, as you let that sit in, it will demolish all of that glue, and it should come off and be clean. So that's a little tip for you on the side there, and that's what I do for my jars. Another type of container that I like to use, and I only have a couple of these on hand right now, are these oat containers. Now, if you open this up, you will see, how big this jar is. And you can actually take the paper off of this. I haven't pulled it off yet, but when you rip this label, it will just pull right off, and you have a brown container with a lid. And you think, what am I going to do with this? Well, there's a lot of things that you can store in here. If you have grandchildren, it's wonderful for storing like Matchbox cars, which get everywhere. A Barbie doll will fit down in here with Barbie doll clothes that you can put around her. And this would be really cute if you're shopping, if you're thrift shopping. I know a lot of people think, I don't want to give a gift from a thrift store, I want to buy something new. But let's face it, not every family can afford to go out and buy new toys for their child for Christmas. And that's okay. You know, things that are used are still really good. And so we just have to think of creative ways to package them. And so one thing you might could do is remove this, take a Barbie, a little plastic doll, put her down in the middle. Maybe you want to make some clothing items for the doll, or you can find some at thrift stores, and then put all those clothes and shoes and little accessories down around her. Put a big pretty pink bow on the top of this, and it would be great for a little girl for a present. There's lots of things that you can do with these containers, but they are larger, so I usually only keep about 2 of these at a time. Okay, and then another type of container I love to keep are these sugar-free drink mix containers. These things are wonderful. They have all kinds of different brands, you know, like maybe Weiler's Great Sugar-Free Drink, or I don't know, Country Time Lemonade sugar-free drink. And so when you get that, pull the plastic label off, and you can store all kinds of things. This is a pretty large container that will hold, you can put Q-tips in here, cotton balls. You could actually put like several nail polishes in here and some things that you could use to do a little manicure if you're going on the road. You can put some snacks in here and store them in your glove compartment of your car. As you can see here, I have some little hair accessories. When I go on a trip and I take all kinds of little clips for my hair, I'll put them down in one of these to keep them all together. You can even store, you know, earrings or whatever you want to. Put them down in here, and it'll just kind of keep them close together. Now, earrings may not be that practical because this is a pretty tall, I mean, not that tall, but it is a pretty tall container for earrings. But anything you want to keep together, whether it's paper clips, rubber bands, whatever it might be, this is a fantastic container for it. Another thing that I use this type of container for is for my wall charger and my charger cord. I don't know how many times I've been on a trip and actually left my really nice, expensive charger and cord in the wall. I'm trying to get everything packed up to leave. We're making sure we have all of our shoes. We're making sure we have all of our different items out of the bathroom, the shampoos and the things that we've taken. And I just walk right out and forget to check the wall for the charger cords. So if you put it in something like this, and you put what it is on here, you could put charger or just even the empty container. Sit this with your other items up. You know, usually a charger cord, when you have it in the wall, it's down low. And so you don't always think about looking behind the bed to make sure that you've gotten the charger cord. That's not on your mind at the moment. But if you have this empty container sitting out, you're going to say, wait a minute. My charger. I forgot to take my charger with me, and you're going to know that that's what this is for. And it's not waterproof, but it is water resistant because it keeps, you know, a lot of dampness out. So that's a really handy tool to have. You can really think of a million purposes. I keep about 4 or 5 of these particular containers because I'm always finding a use for them. Now, other items that I find a use for, here is one. How many of us have bought ham slices or turkey slices from the grocery store, and they come in these neat little plastic containers, and I think everyone knows to just pull that label right off, wash this up, and you have a neat little container for leftovers, to send leftovers home with the kids or the grandkids. You can put cookies in there. This would be great if you wanted to put like some little desserts, homemade baked items at Christmas time. Just get your little wax paper. Just put a couple of cookies in a little piece of wax paper and sit it down. Maybe a couple little, you know, fudge rolls and put them down in there. And then you've got a really pretty little small container, so you don't have to give large quantities out. You can stretch those baked goods out pretty far using this. And this had, I think, some honey baked ham or something in it. And so I've kept that particular container. Another thing that I keep as far as plastic bags, one of them is the plastic bag that our newspaper comes in. Now, keep a few of these on hand. They're good for lots of things. One thing you could do if you want to keep smaller items, you can cut this in half with some scissors, and you could store smaller items down in here. This would be even cute, once again, for giving some type of a gift, like if you wanted to make cookies or snack mix at Christmas time. Just save all these bags. They're perfectly clean. Just trim the top off, get a really pretty bow, and collect it up and put it down in something like this. And but the main thing that I use it for is I take scraps from my kitchen outside into my compost pile. And like this weekend, I had like 20 eggs that I was shelling, and all the shells can go down in here along with any other scraps that you have, like vegetable scraps. And then when you collect them all up for the day, just take them outside, dump them on the compost pile, ball this up, and throw it away. And you have don't have to wash a bowl or anything to keep your compost scraps in. So that's a really good thought. And there's lots of purposes that you can use this little plastic bag for that maybe you hadn't thought of before. I like this kind of plastic bag too. I know we're seeing these more and more in grocery stores now. This came with the little small cucumbers in it. I love this kind of bag. It's thicker than a Ziploc bag, and it has a handle on it. And it also has a little Ziploc top, and you can open this up. And what I like to do is I like to go out to my garden and collect those little small tomatoes or things like that, and then put them down in this container. You can then come inside and sit this bag in your sink and rinse them while they're in here. Because of these little holes, the water will come right off of them, and you can allow them to drain in this bag as well. And so it's a really handy tool to have with a little handle on it. I keep a couple of these around. I'm sure that you all have items around your house that you repurpose. The main thing is not to overdo it, not to get a lot of clutter in our homes where we have cabinets that are overflowing with little empty containers that we never use, but to actually make use of the items that we do keep. So that might mean that you only keep 2 or 3 or 4 of something, and then after that you toss them into the recycling bin. And of course, the nice thing about these items is that we're always bringing them into our homes, and so if something messes up, or let's say we give away a treat, we always know that we're probably going to have another one coming in next week that we can use. I hope this has given you some ideas, friends, about ways that I repurpose things in my home. How do you repurpose things in your home? I would really like to hear your ideas and suggestions. You might be doing something I've never heard of, and I really want to know what that is. Thank you for spending time with me. It's been a joy to talk to you today, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye, guys.